Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. It's your girl Jazz, and today I wanted to give you an update. I've had an EV for almost 3 years now. Pretty crazy to think about. I've had it for 3 years, and I have about 36 by the time of my next trip. It'll be at least 36,000 miles on it. And one of the unique things about my car, I have to show you guys this. A typical EV6, Kia EV6, does not get more than 310 miles of range. But I'm going to show you what's unique about mine. Look at the current range right now. We're looking at 346 mile range. Right? I know I'm just as confused too. I'd say maybe about a year ago, I had an issue with my charging. I was able to charge regularly on a level 2 and level 3, or a level 2 and above charging. I was not able to charge with a level 1. So I took it in. They changed out some things. I'm not too sure about all the details on it. I do know they had an ICC unit. Again, not too much details about that because I'm not familiar with it. I don't know the mechanics of the car. So I just know that specific unit was replaced and I got my car back, and lo and behold, I'm able to get insane charge at this point. I will get a higher charge on a level 1 versus 2 or 3. I think that's the highest it goes to right now, so 3. At least in the States. Overseas, that's a whole different ball game, whole different wattages that we're not even going to talk about here. So yes, I've gotten as much as 404 miles charge. Now, of course, as soon as it unplugs and I take off, it drops down maybe about 20 miles or so, just because, again, it's plugged in versus not. So it's holding the charge. Anytime you take it off the charger, it's a good chance it's going to drop down. Now, for anybody that's worried about the charging, don't worry about it. Don't have a panic attack because it's adjusting. It's something that you don't get in gas cars. With EVs, you're going to have, if you, just depending on the mode that you have on, it's going to show a shorter range or a faster range. I drive on an Eco, so mine's going to have the max that it's possible. So for anybody that's worried about, oh my gosh, I only have 20 miles and my destination is 10 miles. Am I going to be able to make it? It depends on your driving conditions. Do you have your AC blowing full blast? Do you have heat blowing on full blast? Although right now nobody's thinking about heat, but we're not talking about that right now. There's a couple of other horror stories that I've heard about EVs. I highly, highly suggest don't listen to those. They may be few and far between, like my incident where I had to leave my car in the shop for a while. That's not typical. So for anybody that's, worried about the range or anything like that, it's going to be similar to a gas car. The only difference is that you're going to see the adjustments in real time. I can easily go 80 miles an hour and I can have a 350 range, and I can slow it down to a 70, 60, and I'm going to have, I don't even know what number I just said. It's going to have a more of a mileage. So speed, what you're doing in the car, as far as maybe if you're charging anything in there, because I'm always charging my phone. If you have the AC blowing fast, all that is going to affect it. So if you see maybe a 10-mile range, don't have a heart attack, because I've driven off in my car with 388 miles. Got back home, I had 380, and whenever I turned it back on again, I had 390. So yeah, I know these numbers are high, especially for an EV6, but those are the ranges that I'm getting now. So I'm getting pretty significant. I think on average 350. Of course, if it's cooler, I get more. If it's warmer, then it's going to be about 350, give or take. No less than 340 on a full charge. People are always scared about charging and, oh my gosh, it's going to take 5 hours to charge. It's going to take 5 days. It depends on what level of charging. I use a level 1 charging in my garage, and I just plugged into a normal charging port. Everything's great. And yeah, it's going to be a slow charge. I'm not going to get 100 miles overnight. I might get 50, which is about typical. If I go out, that's about how much I travel as a general statement. EVs are not, well, I wouldn't say is not for everybody. It depends on your priorities. If you're constantly driving long distance and you don't want to wait 30 minutes to get a good charge, then obviously an EV's not going to be for you. As the batteries advance, you're going to have a quicker charging, so you're not going to have to waste as much time. Personally thinking, when I travel, which maybe give or take average once a month, to travel maybe a 3-hour distance. I may charge once I get to my destination within that 3 miles or the 3 hours, but that's going to be using a level 3 charger or higher. I think, like I said, I think level 3 right now is the highest it goes. Maybe level 4 is slowly starting to pump out, but very, very, very slowly. The biggest obstacle, in my personal opinion, about an EV and traveling long distance isn't the time. It's there. You may have to go a different route, maybe a little bit of a longer route than you're originally planning, because you're going to have to plan around charging stations, and they are growing. For me, going to Louisiana, New Orleans recently, there's 2 ways that I could have gone personally, and as far as if I had a regular gas vehicle, but because of the charging stations, I was only able to travel one destination. So that's a bit of a drawback, but there's going to be charging stations. They're constantly growing. So if there may not be a path today, give it a week, give it a month, give it a year, your path could be easily changed. So that's the biggest downside about charging, or an EV for me in general. It's not the charging, because after driving 3 or 4 hours, I need a break anyways. Getting up, stretching for a little bit, for me, it's worth it. You know, I usually take this little one with me, and we're taking her out for a little walk, use the restroom, and get her break as well. So by the time I'm ready to get back in the car and go, I'm done charging. And it's usually the last 20% that's going to be your biggest delay. It'll go from 10 to 80% in, I believe, 25, 30 minutes. I'm probably wrong about the times, but I know my editor is going to correct me, so thank you. But overall, I've had no issues. I've had maybe a couple of scares of range anxiety, but that's just poor planning on my part. It has nothing to do with the car. It's no different than if you're traveling a long distance in a dead area where there's not going to be any gas stations. You just got to plan ahead. That's the biggest thing that I can suggest for you to do. I've also heard about issues with the brakes, where you're going to need to change the brakes out faster, and tires. Again, I've had my car for 3 years now, or almost 3 years now, and I've had no issues with the tires. I do have a slow leak in the back, but that's probably just, it's not even wear and tear. I'm pretty sure something I ran over on the road, but it's nothing that's going to stop, that I need to get new tires for. As far as the braking goes, I personally think that you're going to have better brakes with an EV in general, especially if you have a one-pedal driving, versus a gas car, because you're not having to hit the brakes as much. I can easily just take my foot off the off the accelerator, not the gas, and I won't have to use brakes nearly as much. It's more mechanicalized rather than actually the brakes. So personally, in my opinion, you're going to have better brakes as that as well. I can't think of anything else. If you guys have any other questions or concerns about driving an EV, specifically the EV6, we can talk generally about EVs, but knowing specific cars, you know, I don't know all my knowledge there, or I haven't had any experience with all of those. So if you have any specific questions, I'd love to hear from you guys. Anything else that I need to review, let me know. Love hearing from you guys. And as always, stay tuned, stay jazzy. Thanks for watching, guys.